I loved Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He gave great speeches and his leadership inspired and galvanized the people. But by the end of his life, he seemed to have realized that he had integrated his people into a burning house. It was like we left our businesses behind and our power got scattered. It became apparent that our main goal should have been economics. Back in the day, we had our own. Our dollars stayed with us and our communities thrived. It's time for us to move past our trauma as a people, favor each other and commit to the staunch support of our businesses. Well, it's time for us to rebuild. iShop.Black is an opportunity for us to renew the spirit of Black Wall Street now, when we began to pool our nearly $2 trillion buying power on this platform. It's time to unify and again begin to circulate our dollars among our own at iShop.Black. Join us at iShop.Black. Let's make every dollar count when we buy and sell with our own. Come set up your online store with us. Let's build our future together. For a limited time, only take advantage of 25% off on all subscriptions on iShop.Black. You can have your store up and running for our lowest price ever, around $26 per month. Offer expires September 30th, 2024. Scan the QR code below.
Join us for our tech podcast on Sundays at noon.
Hello everyone, join us on an exciting journey with Explore the World Cameroon. London and Sydney go take you explore Cameroon, the heart of Africa. Experience the vibrant culture, nature and traditions from Yaoundé market to rainforest adventures. Every page na new discovery. Join the Cameroonian food, music and wildlife with our explorers. This book na true celebration of Cameroon spirit. Get your copy now. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through your library and bookstores via Ingram's Park. Don't miss this adventure.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Make sure you pick up my two books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive-Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs and on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com.
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the Saturday evening stream. We greatly appreciate you being here with us, and we are definitely going to just review just one part of the latest interview with your greatest Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris. She is a great Vice President for a lot of you. just because she's perceived to be black. For some of you who are watching, I'm not saying everybody feel that way, but we're talking about the Shields. Got to make sure we know the Shields are watching. So shout out to the Democrat Shields. We care about you too. I know you're part of the community. You are in error, and hopefully one day you wake up. And I got some hope that maybe you will, because if you keep listening to this program, see, I'm planting a seed. Understand? I'm planting a seed. You may not like me, but I'm planting a seed. And that seed is going to, when I plant it, every time you keep coming back, we're going to keep watering that seed. You understand? And then as we keep watering that seed seed going to germinate. And as that seed germinate is going to grow, then one day it's going to hit you and say, man, you know what? I hate to admit Phil was right all this time. See, that's when you're planting the seed. So if you keep coming back, Democrat Shields, because something I'm saying is right. You can't see it right now, but something I'm saying is right. So that's why I say shout out to the Shields. I got faith in you. I'm not gonna throw you away. It's okay. I've met some of you in the past, and let me see who this person is. Hold on, give me a second. Let me take care of something. I got something in my email. I don't want to. Hold on. Let me check my email. Part of my job is to try to make sure I keep everybody happy. But outside of that, I hope Saturday going good for y'all. And where's she at? Okay. Let me see here. Just give me a second. All right. Boom. I'm going to take care of a problem somebody has sent to me real quick. Hold on. I got you. Give me a second. Let's see here. Okay. If it works, is that it? Hold on. Okay, that's it right there. Boom. All right, so Shirley, if you sent me an email, you should be good now in the chat, Shirley. If you sent me an email, I'll respond to the email. Let me respond to it right. Oh, you just now sent the email, right? Okay. So Shirley, if you sent me that email, you can say, I'm going to put, you're good to go. All right, sure. So Shirley, yeah, got you, Shirley. All right. Thank you for sending me the message or sending us the message. We greatly appreciate it. All right. Just real quick. Those of you who do get the yearly membership on the app, we do offer, also you can be, you can chat as well. All thing you have to do is send us the receipt that you paid for the year and send the link to your YouTube channel. And then we'll add you to the chat here and you're cool. You're fine. And that's that. Also, if you're going to Ethiopia, once again, I always like to make that reminder to try to keep up with your payments, all of that, and we did it. We have payments so it can make it easier for other people to go. And not saying pay it all one lump sum or two payments or something like that. But hey, some of y'all got it like that. But let me not kid it twisted. I've met some of y'all, and some of y'all got some very professional jobs. Some of y'all got government jobs, as y'all been working for the government 20 plus years. Some of y'all are business owners out here. I've met in some of these trips. Some of y'all just got really good careers. I've met, and so y'all, a lot of y'all doing good out here. So let's not get it twisted that all black people aren't doing good. Oh no, we have a lot of black people who are doing very well in the United States of America. Like, please don't have that narrative like all our people are struggling. No, they not either. Oh no. I never believe that about black people because I met too many of you. I asked you what you do for a living. Y'all got 2-3 businesses and y'all doing this and doing that. Oh, I'm a travel nurse and I do this and do that. I've met all kind of black people. you know. So shout out to y'all. I love, you know, and the thing is, I enjoy to hear the stories of y'all doing good. I don't be looking at, oh, why him? Why her? No. Like, it's like when y'all tell me y'all doing good, it makes me happy. I feel like I'm partaking in that. You know what I'm saying? So if you say you got 2-3 businesses, you got a great career, you got this and that, man, look, I'm happy for you. Because you know why I'm happy for you? Because if you did it, then doggone it, the rest of us can do it. That's how I look at it. I never believed in that hating energy from nobody. Hate on another brother or sister for what? Like, if anything, say, man, bro, like, how you did that? Like, put me on, man. Let me know, like, cause look, one little morsel of knowledge can take you to that next level. So, man, instead of don't hate, just congratulate them and say, hey, what did you do to get there? Man, you can just have 2-minute conversation with me. It could be a missing piece of information I need to get to the next level, right? Like, so don't be on that thing about hating on somebody. Just, if you got an opportunity to talk to another brother and sister that got more than you or more successful than you, just ask them just you know, what they did. You know what I'm saying? Like, right before this show, I was talking with a partner of mine. We used to work together in a petrochemical. He has his own business. I have my own business. And we were discussing certain things we didn't know about business, what things we've learned, mistakes we made. We were just having a great conversation, building about business. You know what I'm saying? About dealing with, you know, some things he's doing in his business with them folks. And we were talking about that story out of Henderson, North Carolina. And, you know, because he has a trucking business. And I'll tell him, hey, man, you know some of them sundown towns? And he was like, oh, yeah. He said, I have rules. He said, if a town don't have a Walmart, I do not like to be around there. He said, just bottom line. And he said that in certain areas, I tell everybody to shut down at 9 o'clock, get to a Love's, a Pilot, or wherever. He said, but you got to watch some places you at, you know, because some of these people, man, you know, and I'm like, yeah, man, it's dangerous out here for black people in America. Them little hills have eyes town. Because one time he was telling me something about West Virginia. I said, bruh, I know about West Virginia. I say I've been to West Virginia a couple of times. I say, and I don't have no love to be in West Virginia. Now I know they got, I think, one area is a lot of black people in West Virginia, but just the area I was at least, like Wheeling, West Virginia, is about an hour from Pittsburgh. I was like, man, some of these places look like the hills have eyes. So like, man, it was hardly no black people. The food wasn't good. Listen, it's nothing against no other group of people, but I gotta be some areas where people got some color to them because the food is better. Okay, if they got some Hispanics, blacks, they got some Asians, they got something. At least somebody season their food. I cannot be in an area where it's just nothing but the folks because I already know the food gonna be bad. Sorry, folks. Listen, y'all palate is just not good for seasoning. So no, you know what I'm saying? Like, where the black people at? If I can't even find the black people, you got where the Hispanics making Hispanic food? Something. I gotta have some food, some taste. Oh no, Lord. And it just you say you don't remember, you can't recall, huh? I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all talking about Woody, telling you can't recall. But yeah, y'all, I gotta have somewhere. So yeah, I'll tell them, you know, some of them little spots. I say, man, I like being in areas where black people are at. I love it. Like I said, just put me where my people are at, you know, and I'm cool. I am so cool, you know. And let me tell you something. I get along with everybody in the diaspora. When I go to different African countries, that's my brothers and sisters. That we break bread immediately. You know, that nothing but love for them. Always been treated nice with all the brothers and sisters in the continent, and shout out to them. But I still remember the last trip when we came back and landed in Atlanta, and just watching the interaction with this brother and sister going roasting each other back and forth, and I was just laughing. And I told Sharif, I was like, bruh, it ain't nothing like Black America, isn't it? He said, I know, right? He was just laughing because they was roasting each other just on the spot. Now, other groups of black people in the diaspora, they would get so offended by that. But that's just how we talk. You know, we just talk to each other. Like, we roast each other. It's no big deal. It's funny, you know. And so, yeah, shout out to Black America. Shout out to Black America. All right. Yeah, West Virginia's a trip. Yeah, it's a trip. Y'all, and shout out to everybody in West Virginia. Shout out to y'all. But, yeah, y'all can have West Virginia. All right, so let's go on, and we're going to get to your favorite vice president here in a second. Let's see who we gonna let's start off with okay, we'll start off with him today. It won't take too long, so we can go ahead and get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and get on with Uncle Rucker.
People say the key to fixing the problems is education, but I say education is not the answer. Why bother? And what do they do in college anyway? Oh, they go there, they party, get drunk for 4-5 years, and end up just as ignorant as when they came in. You ever seen these fraternities and sororities? You ever seen these things? Silliest ever seen in my life. You think Aristotle turned to Achilles and said, hey, let's create a fraternity and jump up and down barking like dogs? Hell no. White man out there getting Nobel Prizes and doing business deals in the fraternities. Jumping up and down with candy canes and doing all kinds of silly with their hands. I got something for a fraternity of bananas up a tree.
All right, that was the great Uncle Ruckus. And yes, we know class is in session. Make sure you pay attention. We're going to try to have this Saturday evening class, and it won't take too long. That's for sure. You know, we got to have class for you. And I tell y'all what, you know, I can't wait to get back to my Monday through Friday schedule because, you know, at one point in time, I was just doing Monday through Friday on these streams. And, you know, so the moment I can get back to that, because sometimes I'll be needing that weekend off. But, hey, we're going to keep working on Saturday until, you know I can get back to my regular schedule. But make sure you go to vote.gov, ladies and gentlemen. Vote.gov, where you can go ahead and register to vote and participate in the process, is very important. There's no reason to complain about any candidate if you're not going to participate in the vote against blue, no matter who, from the top of the ticket all the way down. And you can't do that unless you go to a place like vote.gov and participate in early voting the first day. That's what I am pushing toward everyone here. All right, so let's go ahead on and get to your favorite vice president of the United States of America. You know, now she's back and wearing her Chucks again. I don't know if she's trying to, I've been noticing that with her lately and all of that. Okay, cool. I just got a question. Her and Hillary Clinton, why they be dressing like studs? And the reason why I say they dressing like studs is because why don't they wear a dress? Hillary every once in a while wear a dress. But I never see Kamala wear a dress. I think the last time I seen Kamala wear a dress was Inauguration Day. She wore a dress. But that lady never wears a dress. Like, why don't you wear a dress? I don't know. I'm sorry. I think a woman could be so fly and classy with a dress, with all kind of different things that women wear, like to embrace the femininity. I mean, I saw her the other day with Biden, and they were dressed alike. I said, okay, now she really looking like a stud. What is going on with that? I would have a problem if my wife was walking around looking like a stud all day. I have a problem with them. Like, hey, can I go buy? You want me to go buy you a dress or something, or some heels? Like, you know, I don't know. I just think, just my personal opinion, women supposed to be feminine. And so if my wife buy dresses, she buy heels and all that, I'm all in support of that. There's nothing wrong with a woman wearing a jacket. Listen, you can wear a jacket and put it together and look very, very feminine. So it's not that it's not jackets are not feminine. It's just the way she be putting stuff together. And Hillary Clinton, it just look too much like a stud. But that's just me. That's just me. Anyway, you say masculine, that's why. Yeah. It's like, bro, wear a dress. What is wrong with a dress? Nothing wrong with it. That's probably why some people don't take you a certain way, because you don't want to put on the dress. You want to walk around here like a stud. And shout out to the studs. I ain't got nothing against the studs. The studs are my sisters. Shout out to the studs. All right. You know, I've never had the cologne section run out because the studs go buy the cologne. No, the studs, I don't see them buying the cologne I wear, but hey, shout out to the studs. All right, so now you remember during the debate, Vice President Kamala Harris, you ever had a friend, like a good friend of yours in school, and that friend, you know, it was a subject matter you wasn't good in, but your friend was going to first period. They had that same teacher first period. You had that teacher third period, right? So you tell your friend, hey, you taking that test? The same test, right? Yeah. I got Mr. Jones. Yeah. Hey, look, do me a favor. on the low, could you take a picture of the test and just take a picture of the test and let me see like what's on the test or whatever? That way I kind of know, so I know exactly, because he gave us a bunch of questions to study, but he said only 20 gonna be on the test. So take me good pictures and text it to me, as soon as you can or whatever, so I can kind of look at that and know what to actually answer or get the answers from. So your friend do that for you. They don't get caught. They take the picture for you, text you like, oh, that's what's on the test. So you know exactly what to go study to get the answers, right? Okay, cool. So when you walk in that class, you confident you're going to pass that test. You already know what's on the test. You good. Well, that's what we about to just remind you of right here. So let's go. Let me cue this up. Okay, cool. That's Kamala.
Land, he owned buildings, and he was investigated because he refused to rent property to black families. Let's remember, this is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5. Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States. And I think the American people want better than that, want better than this, want someone who understands, as I do, I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other.
Now, the reason why I was saying what I said earlier, now you see how poised she is. You see how confident she is. Very poised and confident. She already kind of knows what she's going to say. Nothing was kind of surprised when they asked Trump the question that they asked him. I want you to just notice that demeanor. Now, that was just at the debate, okay? That was at the debate. So I said, oh, okay. Well, maybe we got a new Kamala Harris now. Maybe she didn't got her act together, and oh man, now she like she's talking about something, right? She wasn't talking about nothing. Now, forget all the rumors about an earring being a possible earpiece, even though the company that made that have their earrings as an earpiece said that, well, that earring looked very similar to ours, but we can't confirm that's ours, but it looked very similar. They did come out and say that. People were saying that I think she was giving the debate questions because the dude from ABC, they know her personally know her, right? Help her and her husband get together. Then she got her sorority sister up there too, right? Now, we remember Boulay Martin gave debate questions to Hillary Clinton's campaign. That's what got him in a world of trouble, too. So it's not like they haven't done that before to give an advantage to their preferred candidate. We know Vice President Kamala Harris is the candidate that all the media wants to win, okay? So after all that, I didn't go that route in my commentary. Some people are going that route about the earring. I didn't do it because I can't confirm it. I don't do that here. I just speculate. Maybe it seems like she knew something ahead of time, but that's speculation. Okay. Well, there's an interview she just conducted with ABC out of Philadelphia. We're not going to play the whole interview. We're just going to play the first question and her answer. Now, based off of what you just saw, that's a new Kamala Harris right there, right? Hey, nobody gave her nothing. That's just her. Okay, well, you tell me what's the difference here. Let's cue that up.
As you know, we're sitting here in a state and arguably in front of an audience that 54 days from now could decide the outcome of this presidential election. Yeah. You hear it more than I do. People want to know more about you and about your specific plans. At the debate the other night, you talked about creating an opportunity economy. I wonder if we can drill down on that a little bit. When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager. I grew up in a community of hardworking people, you know, construction workers and nurses and teachers. And I try to explain to some people who may not have had the same experience, you know, but a lot of people will relate to this. You know, I've been a and creating opportunity for people, for example, to start a small business. My mother, you know, worked long hours, and our neighbor helped raise us. We used to call her, I still call her, our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small business owners. I learned who they are from my childhood, and she was a community leader. She hired locally, she mentored. Our small businesses are so much a part of the fabric of our communities, not to mention, really, I think, the backbone of America's economy. So my opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. But investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it. Opportunity economy means, look, we don't have enough housing in America. We have a housing supply shortage. And what that means, in particular for so many younger Americans, the American dream is elusive. It's just actually not attainable. So part of my plan is to work with the private sector and housing developers to give them a tax credit, to be able to partner with us as the government to build, and my goal is 3 million new homes by the end of my first term. In addition, to help people who just want to get their foot in the door, literally. And so giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance to be able to just get in the door, and then they will do the work that they need to do to save and to pay that mortgage and to build wealth for themselves and their family. These are some examples of what I mean when I talk about an opportunity economy, and a lot of it has to do with just the community I was raised in and the people that I admired, who work hard, and deserve to have, their dreams fulfilled because they're prepared to work for it.
Okay, all right. So you heard everything she had to say. Now, that didn't sound like the same lady that we saw at the debate. That sounded like the same Kamala Harris that we saw before the debate. So why was she so confident in the debate, and why was she just doing, like y'all say, word salad? Now, if we focus on, first of all, let me start back over. There's a few things she said that I really want to home in on, even policy-wise, that don't make sense at all, especially when it comes to small business. But let me start over.
As you know, we're sitting here in a state and arguably in front of an audience that 54 days from now could decide the outcome of this presidential election. Yeah. You hear it more than I do. People want to know more about you and about your specific plans. At the debate the other night, you talked about creating an opportunity economy. Mm-hmm. I wonder if we could drill down on that a little bit. When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager.
Okay, all right. I'm seeing a pattern with her. She's running on this single mother narrative, and I don't like that. She keeps on saying, now in the black community, one thing we have talked about and say, hey, man, we need to start prioritizing all this single motherhood. We need to, that's not a badge of honor. Why does she keep, when they say, show us who you are, she basically keeps saying, well, I'm a child of a single mother. She never mentions her father at all. She don't mention him. She don't mention Jamaica. I think maybe once or twice she's mentioned it here and there about her grandma in Jamaica or whatever, but she do not talk about the Jamaican side. It's always my mama, my mama, my mama, my mama. She wouldn't, matter of fact, and is one guy, TikToker brought it up, the Indian guy. She never really says Indian. She says brown. And he said, no, you're Indian. You're not brown, which is true, right? But she's running on this single mother narrative, and that's kind of getting on my nerves. I'm like, I don't want to hear about your single mother story. A lot of us could say we got single mother stories. When someone asks you what you're going to do for the country, we don't want to hear your single mother story. We didn't heard it already, right? We didn't heard it many times. It's like everything she says is so rehearsed. It's like a robot. And when people say you sound like an empty suit, that's what they're talking about. You literally have the same talking points, the same story. The story don't deviate. The story don't change. Okay, we got it. You had a single mother. Okay, we understand. Many people got single mothers all over this country. Many of us grew up in single parent households all over this country, with all groups, not just one group, all groups. Fine, we get it. But we want to know what you're going to do for the country. Just because you came out of a single parent household doesn't qualify for you for anything. So why are you telling us that? Like that is any kind of importance. I just want y'all to pay attention as she keeps talking. Even after this, she's still going to bring up this single mother story. She did it in when she did her acceptance speech. Single mother. She only brought up her father once. And mind you, he wasn't there. Her father's still alive, right? So what's up with that relationship? But single mother. Tired of it. I really don't want to hear that, okay? All right, yeah, her parents were married. Yes, they were married and they got divorced. But she don't really say that. She says basically a single mother. My mother raised us. We was in this neighborhood. This, single mother, single mother, single mother. She do not mention her father. All right, so let's get back to it.
I grew up in a community of hardworking people, construction workers and nurses and teachers. And I try to explain to some people who may not have had the same experience, if a lot of people will relate to this. I've been
The man didn't ask you about all that. The man asked you about what you're going to do with the opportunity economy you're talking about. And you talking about everything else to the point you get a person lost listening to her. Like, ma'am, you sounding like the auntie on drinking the wine.
and creating opportunity for people, for example, to start a small business. My mother, worked long hours, and our neighbor helped raise us. We used to call her, I still call her, our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small business owners. I learned who they are from my childhood, and she was a community leader. She hired locally. She mentored. Our small businesses are so much a part of the fabric of our communities, not to mention, really, I think, the backbone of America's economy. So my opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. But investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it. Opportunity economy.
Okay, let's stop right there. Vice President Kamala Harris, you say you love small businesses. Okay. it popped in my head when you was talking. So let me drop a receipt from something during the Biden-Harris administration here. If you really love small businesses, and this actually affected black people for sure a lot more. Hold on. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, here. This coming from CNBC. All right, CNBC. Okay, let me see where am I at here so y'all can see this. Man, hold on, I can move this stupid thing. All right, I'll get to it. All right, so she loves small businesses. Okay, cool, no problem. She loves small businesses. Then what is this? What is this? Now, I'm a person that's in business. The rule used to be if you made $20,000 or more a year, then you were taxed on it, right? But oh no, the Biden-Harris administration, they want to put in a rule with IRS to say that if you made $600 or more on Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, anything like that, right? They want to start taxing you $600 or more. During the pandemic, black Americans created more businesses in the pandemic than any other group of people. Those black Americans that created these businesses were getting paid like Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, etc., right? The Biden-Harris administration say, oh no, black people, you making way, you getting around this $20,000 rule because you're not making enough. So we want to squeeze every dime out of you, right? So let's go on and put in this $600 rule. And even the Republicans, at first, they even wanted to go after your bank account too, but the Republicans kind of stood up against that. But if you love small businesses so much, Vice President Kamala Harris, why did your IRS want to put in this rule? Come on now. Listen, I'm up on all the stuff with the IRS and business. I'm on it, okay? That's the last conversation that she needs to talk about when I know about what's going on with all these things here, right? So they said that the implementation of the IRS's $600 rule is being postponed to next year, giving the affected taxpayer one more year before they start receiving tax forms triggered by the new lower threshold. Essentially, if you use payment platforms like PayPal, Venmo, Cash App to collect payments for your side gig or business, right? This is hurting people who have a side hustle, right? Or business. You must report payments of at least $600 to ensure reporting, which is a deviation from the older rule had a higher threshold, which is $20,000, right? We will get to that here in a minute. It says to ensure this, it says we require that eligible business account holds a 1099K disclosed income. Now, look right here. Third-party services typically send this form to taxpayers. It says who under the old rule, the threshold was earnings of at least $20,000 or receiving 200 or more transactions, whichever comes first, okay? Now, the old rule is supposed to be dissolved by the end of last year, but given affected parties to prepare for transition, reporting will continue to go by the old rule through December 31, 2023. So if your business or side gig earned at least $20,000 or received 200 transactions, 2022 third-party platforms, you expect to receive a form of 1099K for tax purposes by January 21. If you didn't hit these thresholds, expect to receive one, you must still report all taxable income. Now, these rules set forth by the IRS. This is the Biden-Harris IRS, okay? This is something that they put out. So don't run around here telling me that you love small businesses, but you're trying to squeeze and choke out the small business man and woman. You want to squeeze out the young sister that's in her house braiding hair and getting paid with Cash App or Venmo. You trying to mess with that brother or sister that's doing Uber. You trying to mess with that brother or sister that's maybe cutting some yards or doing something for a side hustle. Maybe they cooking food or something and they getting paid like that. They trying to start their catering business or maybe they just got a food truck or something, but they starting off small. You're hurting those people trying to put these tax liability on them. So don't run around here, Vice President Kamala Harris, in the Biden-Harris administration, telling me that you love small businesses when you're hurting small businesses. That's number one. And remember, she's in office, okay? She's not like Trump. She's out of office. No, she's in office. That's number one. Number two, she said, oh, I want to give you a $50,000 tax credit. Well, here's the problem with that. Most people who start a business, definitely brand new, year one, don't make a profit. They're going to be struggling. Most businesses kind of struggle through the first year. So what would that $50,000 credit even do for a person? If you really want to help small businesses, don't give them a tax credit. Throw the tax credit out. This is what you do. You say, hey, I want to help out small businesses. So what we want to do for small businesses, if it were me, then we want to give small businesses up to $50,000 through the SBA for their businesses. Now, the requirements would be, of course, they'd have to have at least 2 years business tax returns. They have to, turn in they bank statements, stuff like that, just to make sure they still, train. You got to have a business account. You got to have your proper paperwork, like your LLC and all those different things to just make sure that, when you was incorporated and all of that, maybe your profit and loss sheet, something like that with it to turn it in. We're not going to look at credit scores or nothing like that too much. We're going to just look at that and do some evaluation. And we'll give you $50,000 to go toward your business. These funds must be used on business funds only, right? That would help a small business. A credit's not going to help somebody just getting started. That helps people that's been established already making money. So this is the problem when you have lawyers trying to run the country. A lot of our politicians are lawyers, and that's the problem. Lawyers have their place, don't get me wrong, because you need lawyers. But I'm sorry, the more and more I learn America is built for business. It's not built for lawyers. It's built for business. Lawyers is part of business, but it's built for businessmen. It runs like a business. You would never become a billionaire in America working a job. You can only become a billionaire or a multimillionaire running a business. That's the way America works. Business, credit, debt. That's the three structures. Of course, taxes you got to pay, but business, credit, debt, and you got to learn how to leverage all of that to make it in America. You understand what I'm saying? So what is she talking about? It's just and anybody who's in business, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All your brothers and sisters that's starting your business, you working a job right now, but you know about business. You read that all day. You look at CNBC. You look at, you invest, maybe you're a day trader, maybe you just got some ETFs, maybe you got whatever, right? But you just know business. And you know what she's talking about is not going to help businesses. My God, I guess so. But see, but you got people that don't know. Let me see how I can say this. People that's not knowledgeable in that area, and they just think she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Like, this woman don't know what she's talking about. But let's continue.
Means, look, we don't have enough housing in America. We have a housing supply shortage. And what that means, in particular for so many younger Americans, the American dream is elusive. It's just actually not attainable. So part of my plan is to work with the private sector and housing developers to give them a tax credit, to be able to partner with us as the government, to build, and my goal is 3 million new homes by the end of my first term. In addition, to help people who just want to get their foot in the door, literally. And so giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance to be able to just get in the door, and then they will do the work that they need to do to save and to pay that mortgage and to build wealth for themselves and their family.
Okay, all right. So, do y'all know the problem with what she just said? There's multiple problems with what she just said. And it's not about me liking her or disliking her. I just know this country a little bit and the way things are moving and what's the problems financially. What is the problem with her plan? There's a couple of problems, but what is the problem with it? Do y'all know, class? Do y'all know what's the problem with what she just said? I know y'all smarter than me. I know y'all are. So what's the problem with her plan? that y'all know of, just real quick. Some of these problems that was created, she's not even addressing in that. You can't throw $25,000 at the point. You know, Jane, that's one thing that will happen for sure. That right there, $25,000 they just gonna jack up the price about $25,000. Okay, you say it's not laid out. Okay, all right. Let me see what y'all still stuck on the $25K. That's a small part of it, actually. That's not the bigger part, but you know. All right, so this is what I would do. If you say, Phil, how would you address the housing shortages in America? What would you do to address that? The first thing I'm going to do, I would pass a law. And I would pass a law that says, one, no private equity can buy single family households in America. Private equity can only buy commercial real estate. You can have all the commercial real estate you want, knock yourself out. But single family homes, you're creating a housing shortage in this country where people can't have the American dream. That's number one. I would have to do that federally so they can't do it, because that's a lot of your problem. Number two, part of that law is that you got to give up those homes that you're sitting on. You got to give them up and say, because we need some homes. And you're sitting on all these rental homes, and Americans can't have homes. They never have home ownership. So we would have to get the private equity out. Number three, because we have that law, now we can stop private equity from purchasing all these new homes that I want to build. In order to give an incentive to the home builders, I will call them all to the White House and I'll say, hey, look, we got a housing problem. And I need, how many million can you build? I need it. And what do we need to do as a federal government to assist you? I'll say the first thing I can do is, if you can build me X amount of homes, then you can be tax-free for this year. You're cool. You don't have to worry about being taxed. Because you're doing a service for this country, because we got a homelessness problem and we're not going to tax you. You can do it tax-free. Make all the money you can. Of course, we want the homes built right. We don't want the cutting corners or nothing like that. We're going to have federal inspectors making sure, but we're going to put some federal dollars also behind you building these homes. So you're not going to just do it by yourself. So how many can you build? We need that. That's the second thing that we need. That's an incentive for any business to do more, is to give them tax-free status, right? Because you're assisting a problem in the United States of America with homelessness. Of course, we need affordable homes, not just these big $8-9 million homes. They have to be affordable for the average citizen that's making money. Number three, we need to get the interest rates down. You cannot get in a home with a 6, 7, 8% interest rate. We need to get back down to 2-1% interest rate. I would also lower the FHA percentage down to 1%, from 3% to 1%. That way we can go FHA loans that's guaranteed by the federal government, 1% down, affordable homes, 1 to 2% interest rate, and then people can get into these homes. And I would make rental history count just as much as anything else, because I don't think you should be able to rent and it doesn't count toward your home purchases. See, that's how you do it. You don't need to add $25,000 because you're throwing money into a problem. Trust me, if it was a 1% down, most people can come up with 1% down. They can. They'll work for that. They'll do that. Okay, that's what I would do. And if you hear anybody repeating that in their campaign, just know where they got that from. Hey, these homes don't cost much to build. They build them with wood. It's not like they're building them concrete homes like they're building a continent somewhere, right? I see some people say not over $350,000. Well, in some places, it shouldn't be that much, just due to the economy and where they at, right? Trust me, if you give those builders the incentive and you're willing to give them federal funding on top of that to help them build, right, to build the homes and all of that. And part of that, I would tell them and say, hey, you building these homes, we need you to hire American workers. We need you to hire American, okay? And get these people to work Teach these people, run them through some classes or whatever, so you can teach them how to do the drywall and trade school and things like that. On top of that, you can encourage people, hey, go to trade school, go learn drywall, go learn carpentry, stuff like that, so you can help build the next American homes. The federal government will help you pay for your trade school because we need homes. The federal government can do all of that, y'all. They got the money to do it. Trust me. They have the money to do it. They don't want to solve a problem. They like to create a problem and say they're going to fix the problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the best way to do that. Just logically, that's the best way to do it. Some people say, what about the tax revenue? Man, please. These people get enough taxes. They get enough. You have to make a sacrifice for the greater good. Once everybody get in a home, now they're paying taxes on those homes. So you can recoup the money that way. Also, with more people in homes and not in apartments, the cities are making more money off of property and school taxes. So it's a win-win for everybody that everybody get in a home and not an apartment. If you get more people in a home, guess what happened to apartment prices? It's gonna drop significantly because there's not going to be a demand for it because more people are going to be in a home. Then now our 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old young kids, well, of course, my age of kids, but young men and women could actually afford an apartment again. You understand? Because more people be in a home, it's not going to be a high demand for those apartments, so they're going to have to drop the price. The reason why the price is just as high as a mortgage is because demand is so high. America works on supply and demand. Okay? And this is me saying it. And I'm not nowhere near with the experts they have, but I'll just use common sense on what I know. All right, let's continue with what else? What else? Trust me, if she had plans like that, she could actually beat Trump. She could if she had plans like I'm talking about.
These are some examples of what I mean when I talk about an opportunity economy, and a lot of it has to do with just the community I was raised in and the people that I admired who work hard, and deserve to have, their dreams fulfilled because they're prepared to work for it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, that's everything that she had to say. And when I hear these politicians talking, I'm like, it's so simple to solve the problems in America. It's not rocket science. It is not rocket science, y'all. Trust me. Some things you got to cut that tax back a little bit on so you can do something for the greater good. Businesses want to save in taxes so they can keep more money, and it gives them more of an incentive to do more. Y'all, people don't get that. And in this country, when you have a job or even want to get a raise on the job, the only way you can get a raise on your job unless the businesses are making more profit. You understand? And if they're not making more profit, trust me, let me tell you about taxes. If they can save on taxes, when you work your job, whatever you pay in your taxes, like federal tax, Medicare, Social Security, you're only paying half of your tax. Your employer is paying the other half of your tax. So if they can save on having to pay certain taxes, man, they'd be willing to give more. At least some corporations. Well, a person like myself, if we get more, I'm giving it to my people. I'm like, hey, we getting it. Hey, I want to just bless y'all. Here we go, because y'all deserve that. You know what I'm saying? I say, hey, I couldn't get here without y'all. So here y'all go. You know what I'm saying? And so when you hear me talking about tax rates and stuff like that, because I understand it rolls downhill. All that rolls downhill when it comes to tax rates, investments, stuff like that. But when it comes to Vice President Kamala Harris, all that word salad she's talking about, dreams, and listen, dreams, who care about dreams? Come write a novel. I mean, that's okay. Maybe she needs to get into novels, and you can buy her novel, her book, and all of that, and that's cool. And she can tell you about all the wonderful single mother stories and all about the second lady that was her second mammy, and because her other mammy was at work. And hey, write all that down in the book and share that. And maybe she has wrote that down. I just haven't read it. But keep it there. When it comes to running this country, and then y'all can listen to the whole interview you want. I'm not doing it. I mean, I have listened to the whole interview. Don't get me wrong. I did. But I just want to take that one little part and just show y'all clearly the lady we saw on the debate stage is not the lady who she really is. That video right there, that's who she really is. And once again, that's the same lady that said a friend in need is a friend indeed and start laughing, okay? On the world stage, not laughing at a rally. We talking about on the world stage, and they're asking you what the United States is going to do about the Ukraine situation. They wasn't asking her about nothing funny. Y'all got to think a little bit about this situation. I think other Democrats they could have put up, personally. I think he was a little bit more centrist. They didn't like him, Dean Phillips. I was listening to how he was talking on some things, and he was actually making some sense. From what the little bit I heard from Dean Phillips, he was a Democrat. They should have put him up. I think he probably had a better chance of beating Trump. Probably him, or probably Bernie Sanders probably had a better chance of beating Trump. And it's not that I like him. I'm just saying that based off of just the what some things they're saying, Bernie Sanders had the enthusiasm, did way more than Kamala could ever have, right? And I still say Bernie Sanders would have been the president if the Democrats wouldn't have cheated him out of the nomination, because they did that. That was crazy. And they split their votes doing that. But I don't know. The Democrats, I just think they should have chose somebody else. You say okay. In 2020, you say you voted. I'm just saying the Democrats, I think they messed that off. They lost I think they lost the election. I still say that. They lost the election. They would have had a Democrat in office. It would have been no Trump if they would have kept him on the ticket. But they didn't like him. The Democrat elites didn't like him. And the more and more I listen to her, she just sounds like an empty suit. She would be literally a puppet for whoever, I guess, because Nancy Pelosi is the big dog behind the scenes. Barack Obama is the big dog behind the scenes. The Democrat donors are also controlling the party. The Hollywood elite is controlling the party because they put a lot of money in that. You said VP is selling hope by the way of an old playbook. However, who's paying for it? It seems that she's talking to those who benefit from forced gentrification, nothing for the community. That's why you got to make a decision. Like I said, I'm going to go early vote. I think in Texas, October 20th is going to be early voting. Now, I looked at who's going to be on the ballot here in Texas. So it was going to be, of course, Kamala, Donald Trump, Jill Stein, and some libertarian candidate. Cornel West is now on the ballot in Texas, but Jill Stein and some other libertarian candidate is. If you're in Texas, you don't want to vote for Kamala or Donald Trump, because I told you vote against blue, no matter who. So if you vote libertarian, you vote for Jill Stein, you vote for Trump, don't matter to me. Write in yourself, don't care, at least here in Texas. There's a lot of people on the ballot. Even your sister girl, Jasmine Crockett, is on the ballot this time around, and I say vote her out too. Vote her out too. I don't care about her little sassy, bad Bill Beachbody comment, comment. Vote her out too, because she's part of the problem too. I see Al Green is running unopposed, so if you're in his district, Representative Al Green, write your name down. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the stream this evening. Greatly appreciated. Make sure you click the like button. Make sure you click the subscribe button. And we will see you Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you join us tonight on our podcast. We're going to be talking about something that Trump talked about in his rally that I thought was that's crazy, because we'll discuss it tonight and see if you agree with that or not. But we just want to make sure explore what both of them are saying when they're trying to get your vote. But we'll see